You might be wondering why you are gaining weight, you are overweight, you have tried to reverse your weight gain, but you have not been successful, and you are wondering why. The main problem is that you have elevated insulin levels in your body. You are insulin resistant. When you eat, carbohydrates in the food is broken down into glucose. This glucose is absorbed into your bloodstream, causing a rise in blood glucose levels. This triggers your pancreas to produce a hormone called insulin. Insulin will tell your body that there is food here, take up the glucose from the blood and into the cells. So this glucose, through facilitation of insulin, will move to the cells for immediate energy use, and excess glucose will be stored temporarily in form of glycogen. This glycogen will be stored in muscle cells and liver for later use. However, if glycogens become full, the excess glucose will be converted into fat. Therefore, insulin is a storage hormone. It facilitates taking up of glucose from blood into the cells to be stored in form of glycogen and fat. As long as insulin is elevated in your blood, no fat burning that happens. About 4 hours after eating, digestion will have completed. Glucose levels in your blood will go down. The levels of glucose going down in your blood will also cause insulin levels to go down. And low insulin levels tell your body, hey, there's no food here now. Let's use what is stored in your body. The first source of energy will be stored glycogen. Glycogen can easily be converted back to glucose. About 8 hours or more or less, depending on your physical activity. After eating, your glycogen stores will be depleted. And for a healthy individual, your body will switch from burning glucose for energy to burning fat. So this is a seamless process for a healthy individual. Unfortunately, nowadays, most people are not efficient at switching from burning glucose into burning fat because they have elevated insulin levels in their body even when they have not eaten. The reason why you have elevated insulin levels in your body is because your cells have developed resistance. They are not responding efficiently to insulin when it is produced. That means that they require much more insulin to allow for glucose to move from blood into the cells. That is what is called insulin resistance. Your pancreas has to produce more and more insulin so that these cells can respond to removing excess glucose from the blood into the cells. And having high insulin levels does not mean that you are diabetic, but it's just a matter of time before you become diabetic if you don't act now. And what are the symptoms that you have high insulin levels in your body? Fat buildup around the midsection, a protruded tummy or a protruded stomach, weight gain, being overweight. After you have started gaining weight, you also developed high blood pressure. You are always feeling hungry. Even after you have eaten, a few hours after eating, you feel hungry. And this is the reason why you are feeling hungry. Since you are not able to switch into burning fat because of high insulin levels in your body, that means that immediately after you eat, once your glycogen stores are depleted, you are not able now to switch to burning fat. And then the body now tells you, hey, I am hungry, I do not have any source of energy. Though you have a lot of fat, you can't burn it because the insulin levels in your body are elevated. So it is blocked because of high insulin levels. So your body starts saying, no, hey, I have got no food, I need food. So another hormone will be produced called ghrelin, and it will tell your body, hey, I need food. What are the causes of insulin resistance? Frequent eating and snacking. Nowadays, people are literally eating. From the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep, they are literally eating every minute, snacking here and there. Not that anytime you eat, you trigger production of insulin. So you find that after waking up and before going to bed, your insulin levels are always elevated. And this is one factor that is causing your cells to develop resistance. Modern diet is containing a lot of carbs, and carbs contain a lot of sugars which are digested or broken down into glucose, which again triggers the production of insulin. And this high carb diet, unfortunately, contains simple sugars from sodas, juices, ice creams, cakes, yogurts that are sweetened. And some of these products used for sweetening, unfortunately, contain one of the worst sugar called high fructose corn syrup. We also have alcohol, refined carbs from maize, oats, wheat, and rice. You find that they have been stripped of fiber. And due to this stripping off, it only sugars that are left. Most of the food that people are eating nowadays have been stripped of useful fiber. And fiber slows down digestion, which is slowing down production of glucose. Too much protein. Proteins are broken down after digestion into amino acids. These amino acids will be used by your body for various metabolic functions, repair of tissues, and excess amino acids which are not required for these functions will be converted into glucose by your liver through a process called gluconeogenesis. So again, having excess proteins will trigger production of insulin. If you are not active, that means you are eating, you are taking in energy, but you are not expending or using it. So that means you take in more, but you spend out less. That will cause physiological changes in your body that will also affect the response to insulin. Having chronic stress. Stress causes production of a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol triggers production of insulin.